Hey guys, it's Matthew Kennedy here from Kennedy's Critters, and Penelope shares a room with a lot of interesting critters. To the left of me is some lizards, and to the right of me is some tarantulas. And as you know, I run an educational experience for youth using exotic animals. Well, I want to show you something very interesting today.
Penelope, Penelope, Penelope Pig in the city. Penelope, Penelope, Penelope Pig in the city. See what she gets into, see who she meets. Is it you, Penelope, Penelope, Penelope Pig in the city?
So today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I want to be able to show you some of the other animals that I have. I do want to give you a warning during this episode. If you are afraid of tarantulas, this is not the cute and cuddly pig that you are normally used to. So if you do have a fear of tarantulas, stop the video now. However, if you want to see something very, very cool, continue watching. At some of the shows that Penelope goes to, we get to see all sorts of cool things. And one of the things I often show is what's called an exoskeleton. And these are really cool. These are the external skeleton of a tarantula. And as a tarantula grows, they have to grow a new skeleton. They'll grow a new skeleton before removing their old one. And then what they'll do is they'll flip upside down and then push the skeleton off. And it's always great to explain that, but I never can show you. Well, one day I was home late at night, and this is the story. The salmon bird eater looks dead and motionless, but he's spun that bedding just for this purpose. He's flipped himself upside down, and he's getting prepared to molt. If you look very carefully, all of his fangs, all of his limbs are moving very slowly, separating the external skeleton from the internal skeleton. You can see slight movements in the fangs. This is the first part that has to be removed. It's a slow process, but she has to get her old skin separated from her new skin. All of a sudden, the whole body twitches. This is a very painful process for the tarantula. She is very carefully separating her exoskeleton with her new inner skeleton. You can see the limbs slowly moving. It takes hours for this process to happen. I stopped the camera momentarily until she was ready to start the molting process. The BIOS bullet cam can take a picture every 3 seconds. I take those pictures and make a movie out of them. What we're about to watch in just a few minutes took all night for the tarantula to accomplish. It wiggles and wiggles, trying to separate the inner exoskeleton from the outer exoskeleton. At the same time, it's using its joints to push the rest of the body out. Now, if you look very carefully at the top right of the tarantula, you'll see the head starting to emerge. The legs are still awkwardly inside the old exoskeleton. The body of the tarantula will be white. The black that you see is all of his hairs. That's right, he will create new hairs, new fangs, and new claws. Here's the same part of the process in real time. You know how you use glue and the glue comes out white, but dries clear? Well, tarantula's skin is white, but as it hardens, it will turn black. But what it does is it expands and becomes bigger. So the new tarantula is brighter in color and bigger in size. This tarantula still has its legs in a very awkward position. Think of trying to get out of a very tight t-shirt. slowly moving the legs forward and back, pushing on its exoskeleton to try to get out. As we're back up to the high speed, the tarantula is getting farther and farther, and she's ready to come out of her shell. She takes some time to rest throughout this process. But it's at that point where, after her long hours of trying to get out, her legs are finally freed from her old exoskeleton. Then the tarantula rubs itself, massaging its joints and limbs, getting the feeling back into its legs, making sure everything is where it needs to be. Now, unfortunately, my camera ran out of hard drive space, but the tarantula flipped over after pushing itself completely free of its old exoskeleton. The body expands and hardens, as well as the old exoskeleton becomes very hard and brittle and dry. Now, I know I've been extremely busy, and Penelope Pig in the City hasn't aired in the past 2 weeks. We have the Family Lifestyle Show episode still to air, and a special episode where Penelope and I go to the gallery. This episode's a little bit different. I hope to be able to do more of these episodes to show you some of the other critters we have at Kennedy's Critters with Penelope. Until next time, have a wild day and happy hunting. Take care, guys.
Penelope Pig in the City.